Hey Internet, it's Nate, watching I Roll Ones, and this is part 2 of my D&D LED Sign tutorial. Check it out, guys.
Alright guys, here it is all cut out. Got it set back up on my template here so I can look at where everything's at. You can see this little piece over here is that piece that goes there. It won't stand up on its own on this little angle. It tips back over mostly. I mean, sometimes it stands up, but got the head of the dragon all cut out, got the flames all cut out, got it all ready to go and stick. I'm going to start with a 220 grit sandpaper myself and see how that goes. I've done it a little bit on this. You can see hopefully it's a lot smoother. There's still some crosses and stuff there. I haven't quite decided yet. I don't know how far I want to go with it. What will look the coolest. It might not matter in the light, because I mean the light's going to shine on it from a distance. You're not going to be right up next to it, so who knows. But you can see here the difference in what it looks like versus the edges. So it's really up to you how you want to do this. Now that you've gotten all your pieces sanded, now you find the center of your image. Now we got 8.5 by 21. So our image is going to be 10.5 by 4.25. So here's our center. Now we're going to measure at 10.5 again right here in the center of that puppy. So we know exactly where our center is on that. We'll hook that up, set that over here, find out where our center is here. We got 10.25. So our center is going to be 5 1/8 by 18 3/4. So we're at 9 3/8. I believe is the center mark. All right. So we're going to poke a hole here. Mark right there. Going to make this level. We're going to grab a couple pieces of tape that I don't have, so you guys will worry about that and I won't. And now we're going to mark a couple places on here so we know where to put our pieces. We're going to take a razor blade and we're going to mark some corners. So we have our pieces in the right spots. And rather than have you watch me do that, I'll come back when I'm done and we can start laying out our pieces. Alright guys, got my pieces all marked out where they need to go. Now I'm going to start with gluing them down. Now I'm not exactly sure what type of glue to use. I've heard to use super glue, which is CA glue. I have tried that on acrylic before myself and have not ever had good results with it. So I'm going to give it a shot using that, but I bought a couple other types of glue as well. So make sure your pieces are nice and clean where you want them. Take your CA glue. I'm using Loctite Super Glue Gel Control. Wipe off your piece, make sure it's as clean as you'd like it to be, and throw some super glue on the back. Now you go in here and you find your points of reference and you stick her down. Now we'll hold that for a little bit and see how it works out. Got a couple places where I had some over squeeze. Must have put too much of the gel on. I'll just wipe that up. It won't be anything noticeable to see when it's all said and done. At least nothing that we care too much about. And we'll see if this worked. Seems to be holding just fine. I'm going to keep the paper covering on this for now because I want to make sure that it's nice and safe and looks fantastic. But if you want to brave it, you can certainly take the paper cover off yourself. Anyway, I'm going to put on the rest of my pieces. Alright guys, now we're going to take them, we're going to cut down the sides. You're basically making a shadow box. I'm only going to show cutting one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this basically in half. It's not going to be perfectly in half. I'm going to cut it and then, I mean it will be when I'm done. They'll be the same size, but I'm going to trim off sides again. Make sure you have yourself a push stick for some safety. Don't have this too high. Here's my push stick. I'll cut this one and we'll come back. I'll be putting the box together on the piece. Hopefully, I had to use a different kind of glue on one of the pieces and I'm not so sure it's going to be dry, so but by the time I come back to you it'll be dry. Okay, so now you continue with your shadow box. I've started this already. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-drill. If you have a brad nailer, go ahead and use that. I don't have one. I mean, I do, but it's at my father's house right now. But I don't, so I'm going to pre-drill some holes, and I'm going to use finish nails to do mine. And I'm going to take and drill these, make my box, and then clean edge side up. I'm going to put this onto my frame here and nail it down. And then we'll work on doing the outline. Or possibly doing the lights. I'm not sure which direction I'm going to go first. Anyway, you drill your stuff in here. Bump the camera with your drill. Got to make sure to do that. It's important. I use wood glue and nails just to make it a little more sturdy. It doesn't really need to be more sturdy, but I've always been a glue and nail kind of guy. So there's that. Make sure your piece is lined up. Make sure that the faces are lined up because that's what's important. And pound your nails. Alright, so I had to switch to my cell phone, but what you do here is you take the backing off of these strips. Now, my strip doesn't seem to be sticking perfectly, so I'm probably going to add some CA glue to the back to increase the stickiness, but you make sure that you have an excess amount. And when you cut these, you want to make sure that you cut across one of these sections, because if you don't, it's not going to work. This last section's not going to work because they have to cross over here. Sorry. Alright, so I've kind of skipped showing you guys some steps because my tripod camera screwed up and ran out of battery on me. But essentially what you do now is you cut this. I cut these to 1.5 inches for an overlap, and you want these to cover up your LED. Now my LED, you can see in some spots the glue didn't stick. I had to do some super glue sticking on it, but it will hold. So you just throw some super glue down there and you should be good to go. Once I get done with this, we're going to drill a hole in the back there. You can see down here, we're going to drill a hole. We're going to feed that through, then we're going to connect these, well, one of these leads up, and then we can plug it in and see how it looks. I still have to put on the top of the A, or top of the ampersand, because it's in the house. I had already taken off the paper, and I didn't want to get it scuffed up. So in a couple minutes, I'll go get that. Next time you see it, it'll have that. But basically, you cut these down to 1.5 inches. Make sure they're, try to make them as close to the same height as possible. These aren't, but it doesn't matter because you're using pallet wood, so it's designed to look kind of messed up. Then you can trim them down with your table saw. I'm putting the cut edge in. If you watch, I like to make stuff. He does it both ways. I liked his better with the cut edge in because the white light actually bounces off this better, and I think it makes it look prettier. That's my personal preference. Alright, now we're going to drill the hole. Drill into the back corner. Put in a bigger drill bit. Come back over to this side. Put your wire through the hole here. Now you got your wire through the hole, and you're going to connect the leads. Connect this wire to this wire. You can use solder, or you can just use regular tape. I'm going to solder and tape it. This will be like a normal headphone kind of thing. When you make your headphones a little bit bigger, you can do that. I'm going to take my knife here, cut off a little bit more of this wire. I didn't have a lot of excess wire coming through, so be careful with that. If you have an electrical wire stripper, that's better. I don't, or I would be using it. So go right ahead, cut that, and you're going to go red to red and black to black. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Some people will use, and I might use, actually I probably am going to use, and once I do these, I might actually put shrink wrap on them instead, do some of that. So I got to get some shrink wrap. What you'll do is you'll take and you hook this up. Twist it up a little bit. You have some mini stuff. Be alright. My solder right here is a little bit too potent, but I'm going to use it anyway. So I'll take this, heat it up. Pretty simple. Get the wires down enough. Twist these together. They don't twist the greatest. Throw some solder on it. That should work. I'm actually going to try and get a little bit more wire out of this so I can twist it a little bit better. Alright guys, here it is. This is what it looks like lit up in the dark at night. There are quite a few shadows. I'm not sure that I think that these lights are so great as far as brightness is concerned. I think they could be brighter. I am going to link you to these specific lights, but I would maybe go with the cool white instead of the warm white, which I went with. This is how it looks lit up in the light. Still, it's a pretty decent sized difference than what it is with the light off. Looks cool either way, personally. I like it light off. I like it light on. I mean, it looks nice, looks cool. I think I might have preferred the white, cool white LEDs that create more of a white than a yellowish color myself. I'm not exactly sure. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. Anyway, I used a normal AC/DC adapter. Can't get you to focus here on my cell phone. But typical normal adapter that you get with most of your electronics when you buy a product. Hooks up, plugs into your stuff. You can get different transformer options on Amazon. I'll link you to those if you want to use those. I just kind of went with what I had on hand in the house. You can see where I soldered everything and taped it up down there. It's hidden in the bottom of the box. Anyway, there you go, guys. Hope you like it. Hope you make one or something similar, or something that you think is cool. Like, subscribe, share. You guys have a good day.